Okay.
I got it.
And then I want to present this view. Share screen. Let's see. Yeah.
Oh, oh, oh.
I had this all set up nice for y'all this morning, man. And then, of course, you know,
Oh,
here's what it is. Let's try this again.
oh,
Oh, God. Lee. Hey, Lee.
oh.
It looks like it's up in the top corner of that closet. Like there possibly had been. Now, I don't know whether if there's a water heater up on top of there, if there's an air conditioned duct that might have dripped and leaked, or if there's an actual leak. They are headed back to the house now. I guess the husband wasn't with them this morning. I've got Eric there on site. He's the one that sent me that picture. And you may have to credit them something for this, or they can refuse to close and walk away at this point. It's kind of the way this shit works. She also mentioned something about a door jamb that looks busted that wasn't before. So I'm gonna get him to send me some pictures and video, and then I got Eric there to look at it too. So we got one of our set. Yeah, that's what she said. Um, she's sending me a video.
Let's see.
I don't know. I can't really see what that is in this video. I'm gonna have to when they're there with Eric, he's gonna have to take some pictures and let us know. No, they didn't close. They stopped signing and they're going back to the house.
Great. When everything was going so smooth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a remedy for it, and that is whatever they ask for as a holdback, you're gonna have to give it to them.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah. Hopefully it's not gonna be that. It's not gonna be that much. I'm sure, unless it really is an active leak on the roof, which they said at noon their inspector's coming back.
Close it too.
Yeah, well, that I don't know if that's happening now, Lee. I'll keep you in the loop. Let them get there. Eric is headed back there. He was headed to Crescent with the key. What about the other keys for them? You left them all in the kitchen or something?
They have all the keys. I left one with the maid, and she should have put it in the lockbox. And then Lisa dropped off one. And I left one on the counter, kitchen counter.
All right, just making sure because I didn't know what Eric had versus what he didn't have, you know. So okay.
Inspector's going on the roof.
I'm sure he's gonna probably get in the attic, Lee, to try to determine what that moisture is coming from. Because it was obviously either it was a previous, it doesn't look brand new to me. There's already mold growth on it. So that means it was a leak that was already there. It didn't just happen in the last week or two. Um, but they got to determine whether it's an active leak and it's still moisture, um, and where it's coming from.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, what do they want? After what they want.
Well, yeah, let them go take a look and determine how serious it is, and then they're going to tell us what they want based on what they find, you know?
What should I do here?
No, you just gotta stand by. At this point, you just gotta stand by. You're not close enough to go run over there to see it yourself.
Callan,
I've got Eric over there. That's the best
here.
best we can do.
Hey, look at
I
it.
know.
No.
What? All right, we can do neti pot. Come on.
What do you think they're gonna ask for?
Um, I don't know. It's going to depend on whether or not they find it's an active leak or an old leak, honestly. We might still close today. You may still be okay. Let's just see. They kind of got you over a barrel right now. Whatever they ask for, you're gonna have to say yes. Or if not, they could just walk away and then you ain't closing. And all your stuff's in the truck. So at this point, just stand by. Let's pray that it's just an old leak and they don't ask for too much. Okay.
I'm surprised the mate who cleaned yesterday didn't see something. Or
Yeah.
say something. Yeah. All right, well, listen, I guess what I'll do is I'll call my agent and say we have to put it on hold for today, I guess.
Well, maybe not. Let's not jump to conclusions. If they go back there at noon and looks like everything's okay and we make an agreement, they'll go in and continue signing, and then you may still be okay for two. I would warn the other title company at this point that there was an issue with your final walk and that you may have to push back a little further this evening and can they accommodate that if that's the case, just to give them a heads up. But at this point, let's think positive that we still closing today. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And let the other agent know, just say, look, we'll be more than happy to negotiate.
Yeah, I told her. Yeah.
And absolutely no idea that was there. I mean, if I'd ever seen that, I would have dealt with it.
Yeah, I mean, it was in the top of a hall closet. I assume you probably had some boxes and shit up there and you would have never saw it. You know what I mean? So that's my story and I'm sticking to it. But anyway, okay. All right, Lee. So yeah.
I'll call the agent and let her know.
Okay. Yeah, let them know that we crossing fingers that it's nothing serious and we able to stay on track. But if not, we may have to push back an hour or so.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll let her know.
Okay, thank you, Lee. I'll let you know as soon as I know something. All right, guys, y'all still with me? All right, let's try to get this present screen. I really wanted to give y'all this roadmap today, man. All right, let's see. We are recording. We are now sharing screen. All right, I can't see y'all for some reason. Why not? I was seeing everybody on top of the presentation before. How about now? All right. Over to the closet. Eric's texting me, door to the closet. Okay. All right. If everybody just unmute for 1 second and say that they see the screen and let me know we're okay. And then we're gonna
I
go ahead and
see.
start. And if
Yeah,
I
it's
gotta
good.
pause with this, I'll just pause for a sec and then we'll pick back up.
I see.
I see.
Okay. And y'all can see the main start the presentation screen too. It looks pretty good. If you're on
The
YouTube,
invert
it
is
looks
also.
sideways because I got it in like, this presentation view. Um, okay. All right. So let's see. Where do I begin? All right. So, obviously, with the team, a lot of us have been in transitions in our lives. A lot of us have just been transitioning into real estate. You know, Maria and I started out I started out as just a solo agent, then a husband and wife team. And then we took on Julian and we were just in the New Orleans market. And and we started to grow as a team. And right at that time, we had the opportunity to move back to South Florida and grow and expand the team here too, which was a lot of moving parts. And obviously, moving into new MLSs, moving into new regions. And then right at that time, as we were getting settled here, we had the opportunity to move over from EXP to LPT, which really, just so you guys know, and I may have said it before, but if not, just so you understand, the biggest part of the decision factor with me from moving from EXP to LPT was actually more for you guys, especially my newer agents. EXP didn't have the 100% model with the transaction fee. Um, like LPT offers you guys. Now, just so you know, I'm not on that as the team lead. They don't let Maria and I be on the 100% plan. So we're on the split with LPT. So that didn't change. 80-20 split is the same for us. Um, you guys just mute you back out now at this point. So I'm giving you a little preface right now just to kind of where we all are and where I'm going with this. So anyway, so we moved to LPT. Obviously, over the past few months, that's been a big undertaking for us because we had to change everything, change systems, change from KV Core to Lofty, redo all our marketing materials. You know, it's been a big undertaking. It's been a big expense. Um, so Maria and I have not only spent a lot of time putting everything together for you guys, but we also have spent a lot of money, and ran up some business lines of credit and things like that to make this thing happen for us all. Um, so in saying all of this,
Probably listen to this.
Trenton, mute, please. Or I can mute you. There we go. All right. Thank you. Because I'm a little bit off track. I was like, oh, like, woke up this morning, got up early, got the presentation ready to give you guys and ready to give you this class. And then y'all heard we had a fire to put out. And that's kind of the name of the game with this real estate thing. And we're going to talk about this in this presentation. And that was a great real world example of some of the things that happen behind the scenes that we have to juggle in order to make this business run smooth and to make the best do the best for our clientele. Um, so all right, this girl's texting me. Can we? They did not. She's asking me, can you please confirm that the sellers have no knowledge of prior roof damage or leak whatsoever? All right. Um, so she's saying, can you please confirm the sellers had no knowledge of any prior roof damage or leak whatsoever? Of course they didn't, you know. Um, and also, movers unpacked that closet. My clients didn't even unpack that closet. They had movers come and unpack. So they literally didn't see this old leak in that closet that they're referring to. Um, so definitely, there's that. Is it an active leak? Okay. Sorry, guys. Um, all right. So I know a lot of us in the business right now, a lot of you guys, have come in and you kind of still, it's Eric calling. I'm so sorry, guys. Yeah, Eric. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, um, I guess they're gonna have to get somebody to come with a moisture, meter and take a look at it to see if it's still wet or if, if it's maybe not that I could get over there right away in 20 minutes. No. You know, not really, not specifically. I mean, I do the guys that did that deal for you, but that's an ordeal. I try to get them. They probably in Baton Rouge or something. Um, no, they're gonna have to get their own. Yeah, if you want. Yeah. See if you can get somebody to come take a look at it. That we have a second opinion of our own also, so they don't try to blow it out of proportion.
What
All right,
about Daniel?
see what you can do. Thank you. Okay. All right. See, Eric's being proactive. Eric said that he thinks he might have a roofer that can run over there and take a look at this, see if we got an active leak. All right. Everybody's still in the house. I'm so sorry. So if you just jumped in, um, we are about to start this realtor hack cheat code overview of the business and all the different things it entails in order to be a successful realtor. I call this my in your business versus on your business talk, because, you know, a lot of agents really think that, writing contracts and showing homes and opening doors and negotiating and doing paperwork and all these things are, what it really takes and what being a realtor is. And that is not even scratching the surface and it's not even really half of it. So we're gonna go over first, some of the actual things that we do in the business so you guys understand. I've actually got some little bullets and some points and to show you some of what, we do for you as far as the team leads and having Maria as the compliance and transaction specialist and a lot of the different things that are taken off your plate so you can focus on the things that are more important. Um, I think, because you guys, a lot of you are new and you've never had to do all of these things, you kind of take it for granted at this point, all of the things that happen in the background and the amount of time it takes to do some of these things that get done for you. So part of this, obviously, is to kind of show you the strength of having us all as a team, um, as well as, really give you the roadmap of the things that you need to be doing. Because I know in the beginning, I jumped into the business fresh out of school and I didn't know, really what to do as a realtor. And I didn't realize how much it really entailed. Um, and let's pause there. This is the client. Lee. Yeah. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. All right, so it looks like they're gonna have their inspector come back. They're gonna look in the roof. He'll probably bring a moisture meter, so they'll know whether or not it's an active leak or not. I've also got Eric calling a roofer that we know to see if he can come over there himself on our behalf and look, so that way we've got an objective pair of eyes that's not just going by there. So at this point, just stand by. They are at the house now, and it looks like there's going to be an inspector coming in a little while and possibly a roofer, and we'll know. We'll know. It would be all wet. Yeah, it'll still be wet. Exactly. And they'll be able to tell with a moisture meter. So if it's still all wet, then we know we got some kind of active leak after all the rain you just had. And if it's not wet, then that's an old leak that came from something that they'll have to figure out, but it's not an active leak. So, um, I told them that, look, you didn't even see it, that you had movers come there and unpack you, and that you perhaps didn't even go in that closet. That's what I said, because you didn't see it, you didn't have any knowledge of it, right? Right, right. Didn't even notice it. No, I believe you. And I believe you would have told me if you saw anything like that. Don't worry. Right. Hmm. It was dry. Yeah. It looks dry up there and the mold looks older. It doesn't look brand new. So, I'm thinking that we don't have an active leak situation right there. Or you would have had water in that closet with all the downpours you just had, right? Okay. All right. I'm giving a team Zoom right now. They're listening in on this. Coachable moment. But all right, I'll call you as soon as they tell me what's going on. Okay, guys, just breathe easy for now. Okay. All right, team, y'all still here? I know this is dragging on and taking more of your time and becoming rough.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
okay, in versus out. So let's rock and roll here. So let's talk about all the different things that it takes to work in this business and be successful, right? Okay. So the first part, my little slide here, in your business. Okay, so these are all the different things that we do. We're going to start out talking about what it takes to be a successful buyer representative, right? And here's just a little quick timeline that shows you some of the things, some of the big hurdles, um, and all the different things. And this is not 100% exhaustive list. I mean, there's a lot of little small things like the conversations you're listening to right now with this final walk that happen throughout the day that take time and effort and psychology. Um, but these are the basic things that it takes to intake a client and get them to closed when you're representing them in a buyer agency. And you see here, I put, um, which has kind of become our creed with the Melorine Group. Um, it looks like Joseph is jumping in too. Good. And this has kind of become our creed with the Melorine Group, which is, we are a very boutique personal team. We are interested in finding out first our clients or our possible leads why, right? And a lot of that time, that motivation, finding out a little bit about that person and what their situation is what really allows us to unlock that personal service, right? And that's why we have all 5-star reviews, and that's why we babysit our clients even past the closing, right? And this unlocking the why is going to give you the insight to answer a lot of the other questions on how to help this person right off the start. They may tell you, hey, my family's, my wife, my husband's getting transferred and we got to be in this area close enough to his job, or my kids want to go to this school, or we want to keep them in this school, or whatever it is. You get the idea, right? So from client intake to showing homes to writing offers to inspections to negotiating repairs to the escrow and appraisal to the final walk and getting them down to the closing, right? So here's that list. And again, we're not going to delve. This is an overview course today to get y'all on track, to make you understand all of what it takes to work in and on your business and grow a real estate practice. And we're not going to delve too deep into each one of the bullets and the things because I'm going to do classes on each one of these things in the coming weeks. We're going to do a series, and we're going to do contract classes. We're going to do lofty classes. We're going to do classes about giving listing presentations, etc. Um, so let's just start now. We got a call. We Julian's jumping back in. So we got a call, whether it's an OpCity lead or a referral or a Zillow lead or whatever. And the first part, we're doing client intake. This is when, like we talked about, we determine who the lead is, Number one, what their motivation for buying, and we're talking about buyers right now, what their motivation for wanting to make this purchase is. Are you an investor who's looking to buy multifamily units? Or are you a family whose kids have to stay in this school district? Or are you a single person who wants to be close to the beach? What have you, right? Also, on top of motivation, you need to determine what their budget is. In determining what their budget is, you're going to determine what they qualified for, if they are qualified, whether or not you got to get them over to the mortgage broker. Um, you know, determine whether or not they pre-approved. If they say they are, get a copy of their pre-approval if you can, or their proof of funds. What their timeline is. When are they looking to move? When do they need to be moved by? How urgent is this? How fast do we have to move for this person? And then I have on there, if you can see it, EBRA, which is exclusive buyer representation agreement. And this is about to happen now. So we hadn't been sticklers about having to make people sign buyer representation agreements with us in the past. But now the law, because of this new NAR settlement that we talked about before, is going to make us, before we start showing homes, have a buyer representation agreement signed with buyers. So we're going to have a class coming soon on how to get, how to present it, how to get it signed, and how to make that process smooth and explain it perfectly to your possible client and lead at this point. Okay. So now we did the intake. Automatically, as soon as you hang up with this person, you're going to start on the procuring the list of properties and to getting them set up properly in the CRM, right? So in the CRM we're using right now that we have is called Lofty. And when they come in from Zillow and from certain platforms, it automatically populates over to Lofty, but you still have to go in and tweak it and make sure you have the information right. We'll talk a little more later in this presentation about some of the automation that happens when a lead comes into the pipeline, about sending them a welcome email with a video and certain things like that. That's going to be more on the working on your business side. But as for now, we procuring a list of properties for this person based on what they told us. And we're going in and setting them up on a saved alert search in Lofty that's going to alert them as soon as a property matching their description populates onto the coming soon or onto the market, right? So we're starting to set up some of our automation for this buyer already. And we're going to send them the first list of properties. And then they're going to look at that list and, favorite some or like some, or text doesn't say, hey, I like this one and I like this one and I like that one. Now we have to go in and look at those homes and see if they really meet their criteria. So there's some more work that we have to do there. We have to go in and say, well, okay, we know you really are tight on your budget and you can't buy if it's in a high risk flood zone, right? Like Ryan and Julian have been dealing with one of our long-term clients right now that's in this situation. He's a first-time buyer. So some of the ones he sends us that he likes, once we really look at it and do the due diligence, we realize, guess what? This one's not going to work for you. Sorry, we probably better not see that one. Now we leave it up to them. Sometimes they say, man, I want to see it anyway. In that case, if we know he's got a little wiggle room and he can make it happen, then we'll show it to him anyway. If we know, hey, this property, you just can't buy it. The flood insurance is $6,000 a year and it's going to blow your budget. And you can tell him, man, we can't look at that one. So, okay, so we get past number 2, which is procuring the list, and we start to schedule some showings for this person. So this is the point where we go in and we've researched the properties down a little further. The ones that he likes, we've pulled the disclosures for him. We've pulled the flood maps for him. If it's in an HOA neighborhood, we pull the HOA docs. We've downloaded all these things and maybe pre-emailed them to him. We put all the listings in a showing card and we plan out the tour for the first day. And, we start to schedule showings, and sometimes homes are not in showing time. And sometimes you got to call agents and text them and stay on them to try to get showings. Some listings, especially here in Boca and Miami market, these luxury homes, the listing agent has to be there as per the seller's wishes. So you got to work around the schedule of this listing agent. So it takes a little bit of effort to really put together a tour for a client. It's not just like, hey, I want to go see this house. Okay, boom, let's go. I'll meet you there. It's not that simple, right? So there's some work involved here. And then obviously the showing homes, right? Finally we got it down to a list of 3 or 4. I try not to do more than 4 to 5 homes in a day. I really, 3 is the sweet spot. I find that if you start trying to show too many homes in a day, it's overwhelming and the people get a little like starry-eyed and by the end of the tour they're looking at each other going, well, wait a minute, which one did we like? The one with the pool, wait, which one was that? And it gets a little confusing, right? So, and you just get worn out. It's hard to keep on schedule. One, it took a little longer to get to, but then that agent's waiting for us at the next one. So we hustling and trying to hurry. Try not to do, unless you got a client coming from out of town that's only going to be there for the day and you got to do a whirlwind tour, try not to do whirlwind tours. Try to make your people narrow it down to 3 to 4 homes on the first tour. And if they don't like any of those, then we schedule another day, even if it's the next day, right? Okay, so now we're showing homes, right? So now, of course, like I said, you pre-plan the schedule, you got it all. You've printed out the MLS one sheet so that when you show up to meet them at the first home, you can hand them the MLS one sheet that has the property description and all the square footage and all the things about it. So these are all things so far that you guys are going to be doing, right? This is the sales part of intake and starting to show homes. This is just scratching the surface of what we do, obviously, right? But notice here on my next slide, see, it's not moving forward. Okay, notice here on my next slide, I've got some stars, right? So if you see a big star next to like number 5, a big star is something that because you're with us and we're a team and we support each other, these are things that we are taking on for you, that we're doing for you. Now, that's not to say you don't have any responsibility in them. And that's also not to say that you're not going to learn. We are going to teach you how to write a contract properly. We're going to teach you every step of the way. But on a day-to-day basis, we taking this part of it off your plate because this is the time-consuming stuff. And this is the stuff that if you make a mistake, we could really, have the liability of perhaps getting sued over. So it's better to allow Maria, who's got, years of experience now in it and, a few hundred transactions under her belt, um, do these things for you. Now, the write the offer part. So what you do have to do as an agent is to gather the necessary information that's going to go into this offer. Now, some of you guys have seen it already, but Maria is going to send out you should have a copy of the questionnaire for the offer questionnaire. And then, it goes whose name's going to be on this offer, what's the deposit going to be, what's the closing date, what's the offer price, are they asking for a home warranty, or right? That list. Don't text me and say, hey, let's write an offer. I'm not picking on anybody in general here, but moving forward, don't text me and say, Cliff, write an offer on this. No, email Maria the list filled out with all the information that she needs to write this offer. You have the list, so go over it with your client and get all the specifics in order. And then call Maria and say, hey, I just emailed you a list. This is a little background on these clients and the house that they're looking at. Maria is going to do some due diligence also on that house and make sure that there's no problem with them writing an offer on this house, right? We had one this week. Write the offer on this house. The buyer didn't realize it was in an AE flood zone until Maria caught it and said, Cliff, did you see this? This one's in a pretty high risk flood zone. Decided not to write the offer. So this is part of having a team, right? When you see on the next one, negotiate terms, the 2 stars, this is something that we are going to do with you as a team and we're going to discuss and back you on. But ultimately, when you're talking to your client, it's up to you to help them negotiate terms and communicate with them properly, the ramifications of countering a certain way or what have you. You're going to have already discussed that with me. This is why you specifically have me and Maria and even Julian now taking a little bit more of a leadership role in Louisiana as he's gotten some closings under his belt. Um, so of course, we're going to negotiate terms and Maria's going to start preparing a counter offer if possible, right? So on the writing of the offer thing, a lot of stuff's happened. All the disclosure documents got pulled. The whole offer got written and prepared. It got all the signatures and everything got prepared and sent to them. The other side got alerted that we had an offer coming. We check the tax records, make sure the person that's selling it is the name of the, a lot of the little meticulous and tedious things, getting the contract signed, getting it back in, splitting the documents back. We're not sending everything that we get signed that is part of the offer. So Maria's got to split it down. And so this is, you think it's a 10, 15-minute process writing an offer, but it's not. It's more like an hour or two process writing an offer, getting it signed, getting it back in, splitting the documents, right? So this keeps Maria at the desk all day long every day while we run and make client relationships. Okay. So number 6, we negotiate terms. If we have to write a counter offer, Maria comes back in, writes the counter offer, gets it signed, sends it to the other side, make sure it was received. And that might play back and forth with a couple of counters to the point where we come to terms and we have a executed contract, right? So now it's time to get the copy of the deposit. So we have to give instructions, whether it's going to the title company, whether it's going to the listing brokerage, what have you. We got to give them instructions. We got to follow through, get a copy of that deposit, whether they send us a picture of it, whether they send it, they bring it directly to the title company. We've got to contact the title company to get it. And we've got to submit that to the other side to show them that we have that deposit. So, this again, you see the 2 stars. We're going to work hand in hand. Maria's going to be there backing you up. You just get the copy of it, make sure it gets sent to Maria. She's going to send it to the appropriate channels. Number 8, at that point, here's another one she's going to pretty much handle, but she's going to split all the paperwork that needs to get sent to the lender if there's a lender involved, and to the title company with a rider that we create that explains the situation and the file to the title company to get them working in order the abstract, in order the title work, right? So again, maybe half a day worth of calling and setting up and splitting and sending and whatever, but work. So, okay. Now, you've got to call the inspector. A lot of times we use Craig. We've got some other inspectors. If I'm not going to tell you who you have to use if it's your client and it's your inspector. We call an inspector, we get on schedule right away because we have an inspection period that is a certain timeline, which you guys understand already, right? Number 10, we go over the inspection once. Oh, let me back up. You show up on inspection day and you're there with the inspector. So that way, if there's anything that he needs to point out, you're there as the pair of eyes for your buyer and the representative of the buyer. This inspector that we hired, they're working directly for the buyer, even though we recommended them. And sometimes these buyers are brand new and they don't know how to read an inspection report and they don't know how serious a leak in the closet is or isn't, or whether it's an active leak or whether it's not an active leak or whatever. But we have that experience. So we're there as that liaison to work back and forth with that client and discuss the inspections after we've been there with the inspector that day. If at all possible, you want to be there, especially on the buyer side, for your buyers with the inspector for the whole inspection. We make some exceptions sometimes because we trust Craig, but you really need to be there. Okay, again, going over the inspection with his clients. We're going to discuss the inspection report in detail with the client. We're going to note any repairs and requests. We're going to try to manage their expectations and not let them blow the deal by asking for too much, but we also want to protect them. They're our buyer and make sure they're not taking advantage of it and they're not buying a lemon. So now we got to walk that tightrope and be ethical. So this is why there's 2 stars here, because when in doubt, you call me, and really I'd like you in the beginning until you really get some experience in any situation where you're about to negotiate repairs, to call and have a conversation with me directly and let me look at the inspection with you. And then let's talk about a strategy moving forward, because I've done enough deals that I know how to perhaps make the deal go smooth and make everybody happy, right? At the end, ultimately, and protect our client at the same time. Number 11, big star, Maria. As soon as we tell Maria what the people are looking for, she's going to go to town writing the inspection response. She's going to notate. She's going to, look at the inspection. She's going to take excerpts from the inspection. She's going to put it in the inspection response. We're going to put what the people want, whether it's a financial credit, whether it's some repairs. If we had found some major problems or a roof leak, perhaps, or something like that, before we prepare the inspection response, we may have to call a roofer or certain different specialist inspector to come in, structural engineer perhaps. I mean, termite company to really come take a look. Hey, our general inspector said there's maybe a little sign of active termites here. We need to know. So if these companies come in and they find something and they give us a dollar value, now we've got something to put in the inspection response to say, hey, here's what we found and this is what it's going to cost to repair and here's what we want, right? And that may be getting it remedied, that may be asking for the amount of money that it costs as a credit, that may be splitting it halfway. Hey, we'll cover part of it if you cover part of it and we'll still move forward and be happy. And then again, number 12, once we've got the PIR, Maria presents it in an email and you call. And this is why it's 2 stars here, because you've got to do some negotiating now with this other agent and they want to make this deal happen too. And hopefully we've got a good relationship with that agent and we've played nice and we're able to, say, well, okay, my people don't want to spend that much, but they're willing to do this, et cetera, et cetera. Here we go. All right. So we negotiate. Now we come to an agreement about repairs or repair credit. This is when Maria's going to now take the PIR that's signed back from the people, get the final signatures from our buyer, get those documents over to title or whoever else needs to see now that there's going to be a credit holdback in escrow or whatever it is. Contact whatever roofer and say, hey, okay, we want to order you to be at the house so-and-so time, whatever it is. This is some of which you don't really have to deal with, but it's busy work, right? And again, she's going to now alert the lender. So if we're working with Tiger, for instance, she's going to alert Tiger and say, hey, Tiger, we now are past inspections, which means we're lifting the inspection contingency and we're moving forward with this deal. So now you can order the appraisal and have the buyers pay for the appraisal. And that lets them know that they can start processing and underwriting this file. So that has to be formal. She's got to make sure that they understand this and give them the timeline. Something you don't really have to necessarily deal with. This is a team thing that we're doing for you. Ongoing as the file moves forward, then there's a lot of ongoing transaction management that happens back and forth between the lender and the title. It's not always smooth. Sometimes they find title issues. Sometimes we've got to go back to the other side and say, hey, we found out this, who's this name attached to it, or what was this lien that was on it? And we work closely with the title and lender moving forward. And then finally, we get to the point where we've gotten a clear to close from the lender and we've coordinated with the title company about closing day and our clients and when the moving trucks are coming and, all of these different details that you're going to really be, integral on working with your clients to make sure everything goes as smoothly as possible. And then we schedule our final walk, which is very important. As you could see before this started, we had a call come in just as we were starting to Zoom when we had a problem with a final walk. This one was on our listing side, but sometimes these things happen, right? You want to probably have already purchased the closing gift if it's a buyer that you're working with. You want to have checked the final CD when it comes out, the closing disclosure, that is. We're going to check it on our end for compliance, but you should probably check it in case your client asks you, hey, what's this $195 fee or whatever it is, right? And then you're going to show up to the closing with your buyers and stand there and hold their hand and be a liaison, between them and the title agent that's handling the closing to explain to them if there's anything that needs explaining. And at the end, you're going to finally pick up your closing docs, your commission check, and then shake everybody's hand and take pictures and congratulate them. And right. And it doesn't even end there because, we'll talk about later after the closing, there's some things that need to happen. And even if you want to keep this client as a referral partner or as a client moving forward, you don't want to just be like, closing's done, I'll never talk to you again, right? So that, in the nutshell, is the buyer process, right? So let's take before we move on to section 2, let's take a little pause. I'll let you guys unmute mics I don't want to take a whole lot of detailed questions right now, but I just want to get your idea on feedback. Any basic questions or how do you feel about all of that? Anybody? Y'all still in
It's
here
good
with
so
me?
far. Yeah, it's good so
Yeah,
far.
man.
Okay, cool. All right.
I wanted to mention when showing homes, the attachments that are there, just to make sure agents are actually looking at the attachments and going over the property disclosures with their clients.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
And also, in Florida with the assessments, doing deep research about building assessments
Yeah.
before going to
Obviously, yeah,
show.
Maria's right. I'm breezing through, I'm going fast because this is a lot we covered, and I'm not getting too detailed on any one of these topics. I'm trying to give you a good overview, but also, I'm not going into super detail on any one of these things. But Maria and myself are going to be giving some more detailed classes moving forward. And then also, look, we have 100% communication, with this team. So, you know, you guys have to call us if you have any questions about anything and just be there to be like, hey, the squeaking wheel gets the grease, so to speak, right? I mean, you got to utilize us. Um, Julian has been good at this. Julian started out with me and pretty much up until yesterday, believe it or not, every client interaction and every deal Julian's done, every negotiation that has happened, Julian calls me and says, Cliff, this is what these people said. How should I approach this? Let's toss it back and forth. And a lot of times, him and I, kick it around and sometimes he calms me down when I'm trying to be more aggressive. Sometimes I gotta say, hey, man, no, tell this person no way. We're not doing it that way, whatever. Okay, just giving an example. But Julian has grown as fast as he has because he communicates with me on a daily basis and he utilizes the coaching and the mentorship. You can't sit back and be like, yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm not getting any help. And, I don't understand what the team's doing for me mentality when, I ain't heard from you in 2 weeks. And when I call you at noon, you're still sleeping or whatever. Like, this is your business. You have to run it as a business and you have a great knowledge of wealth ahead of you right here. Not that I'm some guru, but look, I've taken some big coaching courses. I passed ninja selling, which is one of the big ones. I've worked with Tom Ferry and his brother. I've taken a lot of big courses over the years, plus closed a lot of transactions. And some of what I'm teaching you here is tidbits and experience that I've learned through going through these bigger courses that I paid a lot of money to go for these type of coaching. And I'm not gatekeeping. I'm really not. I want to give you guys this. I want us to grow as a team. I don't want y'all to just use me as a platform to go jump off later and go on your own. I'd rather see us grow as a team. As you grow, there's going to be incentives where we take less money and you make more money. Trust me. But understand the value of what you have here. It took me a couple of years to get off the roller coaster to even figure out what to be doing in my business. And that's what this presentation is giving you all in one sitting right here, right? So, a lot of agents in the beginning, especially you're on this roller coaster, and especially the ones who don't have a transaction management person and have to delve with everything we just talked about with buyers. Um, you can quickly get overwhelmed in the beginning in all of this different busy work and making mistakes on the contract and making mistakes on where you put the initials and oh man, if you initial something in the wrong place and they're accepting something legally on a contract, you could have just messed up and caused a lawsuit for your client if you messed it up. So some of that trial and error and learning process we've really narrowed down and put you in position to be successful here, by not having to deal with a lot of that, busy work. And like I said, the roller coaster effect happens to most agents in the first few years. And that is, you know, you got nothing going on. Then all of a sudden you got a hot buyer you're working with and you're showings and you're busy and you're writing the contract and you're negotiating and you're showing up for the inspection and you're like, oh yeah, man, I got this. I'm busy in real estate now. And then you go to the closing and you get your little check and you feel like, yeah, I made it, right? And then you got nothing else going on. You got no other clients in the pipeline. You got and now you're waiting and twiddling your thumbs and wondering what I'm going to do now to try to get another client going, right? So we want off that roller coaster. I don't want y'all ever to really be on it at all, because you shouldn't have to be, because I'm giving you the roadmap on how to not be on that roller coaster. And part of that is the working on your business part, which we're going to get to. We're going to go through a little bit about listing agency now, and all the different things that we have to do to successfully list and sell a home for a seller. But this is designed to put a clear roadmap on all the things that we need to be doing as agents, and then a clear roadmap on how to get off the roller coaster, so that way we fill our pipeline with leads and clients and referrals and relationships moving forward. And that's going to be the working on your business part. You watch. All right. So the listing process actually is a lot more that you got to deal with, than even being a buyer representative, right? Because now you are taking and marketing a property for somebody, and you got to do a bunch of marketing and spend money and things to be able to, and time and effort to be able to make this house sell for a certain price on a certain timeline that your seller chooses. Um, so it's even more high pressure in a way than working with a buyer. You don't find them a house, you don't find them a house, they're gone. You're listing a house, you got to sell this house, right? Or somebody else is going to come along and take it from you. So this this listing process, as you can see here, you know, you got the listing consultation, you got to start doing the CRM, you get it ready for market, pics and video, online open houses, negotiations, contingency removals, again, closings and final walks, etc. Right? So that's just the overview. Um, Everybody's still with me? We good right now? Yeah, I can't really see you, but I'm trusting y'all still. I see you still in the chat. So
Yes,
we're
sir.
gonna move forward. If anybody's got to pop in or out, we are recording this. Um, obviously I'll probably have to do some edits later to chop out some of the things like this and the phone calls. Before I go on, let me just look at my phone to see here. Um, Eric's got a roofer headed to the house. Great. Lee's moving to closing. Clifton had to drop off. That's all right. I still see him in there though. And let's see what this girl said. Hmm. Okay. Happy Thursday, Clifton. Regarding your customer's offer to Horizon Drive, that's Julian. We're in a multiple offer situation. Just emailed you the notification via DocuSign. Please have your buyers submit their highest and best offer by 5 p.m. on Friday, 6/21. I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks. You heard that, Julian? I don't know if you
Yeah,
saw.
I spoke to Maria. I looped her in when I called him this morning.
Okay, good. So you see stuff in the background that happens, and that'll be some busy work for once Julian talks to his clients and figures out what they want to do. He's got to loop back in with Maria to write it all up and resubmit a new offer. So it's more busy work, right? Okay, but you got support. So okay, let's talk about some of the steps that it takes to successfully list and market a home for sale and get it closed and sold for a seller. Um, so obviously the initial listing call, right? Somebody calls you or you get a referral and they say, hey, call this person. They want to talk to you about perhaps listing your home with them. You get a call from a friend or a family member or somebody and they say, hey, we're thinking about selling our home. That initial call, just like the one with the buyer, motivation, why, where are you moving? Gather your information. What's the timeline? When do you need to sell by? Ultimately, before this conversation ends, you want to set an appointment for you to go see this property. You got to lay eyes on it. You can't do a detailed valuation and figure out what to list this property for without laying eyes on it, right? And really seeing what the fit and finish is, what condition it's in, what deferred maintenance items might need to be addressed. You can't just look at the recent sales of the area because, all the homes in that neighborhood may be totally renovated and yours may be sitting there since the 1940s original, right? So you've got to really look at apples to apples and apples to oranges and really do your due diligence, right? So you set the appointment immediately when you hang up. Number two, and it's 2 stars here for now, but really this is on you. But I'm going to help you in the beginning, of course. And I do help you guys, Julie and Eric, everybody so far. Um, you start to research the property and you work up a comparable market analysis that is, based on the sales approach in most cases with comps of recent homes that are sold in the last 6 months in the area. You work it as far as you can work it without really seeing the property. And we've got some tools like Cloud CMA, RPR, Lofty, you can do a CMA, and even in the MLS, you can do a couple of different type of CMAs. This is going to be a course that we're going to be delving deep into because you guys are going to have to know how to accurately value a property. The more you do, the better you're going to get at it. But in the beginning, it's pretty complicated and there's some mathematics involved. And you're going to immediately start working on evaluation. Usually, if I take a call and I'm at the computer, I pull up that property while I'm talking to that person. I look at it on Google Maps. I look at to see real quick if they bought it in the last few years, if I can pull that previous listing, if I can look at it and see how the pictures look when they bought it, what they paid for it, et cetera, et cetera. I'm already looking at that neighborhood. I'm seeing what sold in the neighborhood in the past 6 months. I'm starting to compare the pictures of their house to the ones that sold in the neighborhood. So while I'm on the phone with them in the initial listing call, I'm already starting to have the conversation with them, asking them about the house. What have they done to it? Did they put a new roof? Did they have a new HVAC? Whatever. So in my mind, I'm already working on my calculation of what I think this home is worth. And I typically don't get into it with them too much on the first call because you want to do it based on being able to see the house first. So you're going to go to the listing presentation and you're going to take a look at this house, right? So we work on the CMA evaluation, and sometimes I'll send them a pre-rough, like, okay, here's the comps for the neighborhood, but remember, this could be off by 20% or whatever based on, me having to come lay eyes on it and take a look at it. And that's why I need to come meet you at the house. So now, listing presentation. Again, 2 stars here. Really, this is on you. In the beginning, I've got a really good listing presentation for us. Some of you guys have seen it and used it. But we're going to tailor it and customize it a little more to you personally when you start doing listings. And you're going to learn how to present it to the person to show them our marketing plan and help them come up with a good value. And we'll get deeper into listing presentation. But for now, we're going to help you and we're going to work with you hand in hand. And when you show up to that house, you're going to go give them your list of, hey, you really need to touch up this paint. This hole in the wall is going to have to be repaired. If not, you're not going to get an FHA buyer or whatever it is. You're going to give them the list of things that they need to do to get this home ready to go to market before we schedule the photographer and video, right? So this is where we're going to come up with a timeline, a price point, and give them their list of things that they need to do in order to list this property. And them tell us, well, okay, I need 2 weeks. Like right now, Eric and I have one. That was a referral from Trenton, by the way, who he is in the process of cleaning and getting the house ready. And he wanted until right after 4th of July before we schedule photography. So we've already now worked with him. Eric's gone and seen the place. We've come up with a price point. He's in the process of getting the house ready and cleaned up. And we've got photography coming that weekend or, a few days after the 4th of July. And this is partly, you see the big star there, Marie, we pay for this for you, typically, if it's a listing. Now, and most teams are not going to pay for their listing agents, photography and everything. That's going to be on you. But at this point, still, we have been scheduling photography for you guys and paying for it out of the team's pocket. And Maria just handles the scheduling. And I tell you, hey, photography's coming at this date. You got to show up and be there with them, right? On shoot day, you've got to get there. You got to arrive early. You got to make sure before the photography gets there that they did what they were supposed to do. You may have to still go in and do a little moving of stuff and decluttering and kind of, hey, wait, this can, this old coffee maker's got to come down off the counters before the pictures, or these bathroom rugs that look funky, I got to move before the picture. You have to be the objective pair of eyes. That's the professional to go in and direct the shoot. while you're there, you probably want to do a little video of the house yourself. As eventually as we grow and we're doing bigger listings and the budget allows, we will have professional videographers and people coming to shoot the video with you and stuff too. Again, if you want to step it up and spend some money and really step up your multimedia, you're there. We're going to give you a basic multimedia package for now, which is pictures and a couple of overhead shots and a twilight shot and what have you. And then, you technically are supposed to measure the house. Now, the photography package we pay for, we usually pay them to do basic measurements of the rooms for us. That saves us the time, right? But technically, as a listing agent, you are putting your name on this advertisement and advertising this house saying that it's this much square foot and that the bedroom is 12 feet by 18 feet. You're putting your stamp on that, saying that you're selling this house for this much money per square foot, and you measured it and you know what size it is. So obviously there's some disclaimers we put in there when we put it on the MLS to protect you from being sued over that. But technically, you are the one marketing it at this price, at this size. Number 6, the video edit, very important nowadays on a listing. That not only did we take pictures and video, pictures while we were there, but we took some video, we took some drone shots, we did a little thing standing in front of the house. Hey, you see what I do. The listing that I'm going to show you today is 3,000 square feet, 5 bedroom, 4 bath. It's immaculate. Let's go check it out. Simple, right? I'm going to give you some classes if you don't know how to do this yet on what I use, how I do it fast. And you got to start doing it. At that point, now we get the pictures back. Big star Maria and she's already started to, in the background, started to input the basic listing information into the MLS. And what I also forgot is, the listing agreement and the disclosures and all the different paperwork and the wire fraud disclosures and all the different stuff. Maria has already been in contact with this seller and started to get the necessary signatures and documents that we need in order to be able to legally list this property. So a lot of that stuff in the meanwhile, while you just focus on pictures and video and your strategy for this listing, the busy work that probably would have took you a whole afternoon sitting there, getting signatures and everything. The team is doing that part for you, as well as the tedious part of entering it into the MLS properly, which actually, you got to get it right or they will fine you. Like, you can't have any information wrong. Even down to the description, certain words you could get fined for using and things. So you're going to learn more about this. But at this point, Maria handles the inputting, or myself handles the inputting. Usually we do it as a team, to the MLS, right? As well as uploading any documents and attachments like the disclosures and, like she said, the condo documents and the HOA rider and the different things that need to go into this file. It's a tedious process. You could easily get bogged down and slowed down in all of that and get distracted from your other clients or whatever you got going if you got to spend all day working on this paperwork. So this is some of why we have the team structure set the way we have, and no other teams are going to offer you this like this. I guarantee you, go research other teams out there. Number one, they're not going to let you be a listing agent for the first couple of years. Any listing referrals you get come to the team, and the listing agents for the team list the properties. You don't even touch them. You start out cold calling people from their office for the first 6 months, and then you go from the next 6 months to maybe working with really cold lead buyer leads. And then once you've probably got 20 deals under your belt or more, that they even start thinking about letting you become a listing agent. I don't do that. Again, we're not gatekeeping. I want all you guys to be able to work both sides, buyers and listings. Why would I want to hold any of you back? And I think sometimes these teams do that because of quality control. They know you really don't have the experience marketing yet as a brand new agent to turn over a $2 million listing to you all by yourself. So they hold back and they don't let you be a listing agent at all until you've, shadowed a listing agent for a long time. With us, I'm here to hold your hand. Maria's here to hold your hand. Julian's here to hold your hand. And we are going to get you there. And then we're going to support you every step of the way. this listing that we have in Miami Beach, this luxury home on the golf course right now is actually Joseph's listing, technically, because this is his wife's family member that gave us this listing. But they were reluctant about giving him the listing, knowing that he really hadn't had any listings before, right? So I had to really step in with him and say, well, wait a minute, we're a top producing listing team. Look at all our marketing. Look, I went and gave a really good marketing presentation with the LPT box of printed material, with the laptop showing all our videos, with the marketing presentation that I'm going to give you guys for download. So, spelling out our detailed marketing plan on what we do. So this strengthened his ability to go in right off the bat and get a $2 million listing, because we have a brand and we have a track record and we are top of Zillow, Best Badge, and all the different stuff that we are. So, again, just saying, utilize what you have here. You're not on your own. You are with a good team. I know we've been busy and in transition and what have you, but I'm here to answer any questions and to help you put together any packet you want to put together or any CMA you want to do. All right, moving on. So we have to start creating and ordering marketing materials, right? So this is some of what LPT gives us. This is designing some different flyers um, and what have you. We've got one example here. I don't know if you can see, postcards. Notice we got Tiger on the back of that one. Tiger's splitting the cost of these postcards with us to be on the back of it. All of this takes some time to design. Now, I'm going to give you guys our brand marketing colors and logo and packet. And, I think what we're working on is creating one Canva account that we all can get in and access. So that way you can customize some of our templates and things. But so this is a 2-star because this is something that we're going to work on hand in hand. Because you are part of the team, our branding has to stay somewhat, congruent and cohesive. You can't just put a purple flyer out there representing Melorine Group because it doesn't fit with the luxury boutique brand that we're trying to create. So there is some guidelines, just like there is some regulations in each state that we have to follow by. But I mean, I want you to build your personal brand. I want you, ultimately, we're going to talk about this as we get further in this discussion, is that even though you're on a team and you have the strength of a team and the brand that's already out there with a track record, your business in real estate really is about your personal brand. And when I say your personal brand, I mean, people want to work with you because of who you are, right? So everybody still good here? I saw something blink on my screen, but all right, I think we good. Okay, let's keep moving. So now you got to go, you got to get your sign, you got to go set up your sign, you got to set the lockbox, you got to place the sign, you got to do all of these busy work stuff. Let me get Trenton buzz back in. Okay, so let me back one. Let me go back. Okay, so just, we're in listings right now. We met the photographer there. We shot some video. We did the video edit. Maria started inputting the listing into the MLS. We started to create and order the marketing materials, the LPT Power Pack, the flyers, the coming soon flyer, the open house flyers, and postcards, etc. Right? Now, we're about to go active with the listing. You got to go get, if you don't have a sign, you got to go get it from Julian. You got to make sure you got the correct signage. Depending on what city or what jurisdiction you're in, you may want to check and see what the regulation is there for the sign, and we'll discuss that. You got to get a key from the client. You got to get the lockbox, get it in place. In the meanwhile, we're working with you on setting up coming soon in the MLS if you're in Florida, starting to pre-plan your open houses, getting with Tiger or Tracy and in Louisiana and getting them to sponsor your open house. We're starting to order our different materials that we design. We're pulling the trigger on some of the direct mailers. that are going out to that neighborhood. And then number 11, the big debut, we go live on the MLS. This is something that Maria does a final compliance review and make sure everything's perfect, that the pictures are in place perfect, that everything is good to go. We go active on the MLS. I see you back in, huh, Trent? All right, cool. Everybody just mute for now. I'm gonna keep going because it's a lot of stuff. All right. So now we're ready. Maria goes live on the MLS, and it's time to start fielding, um, you know, showing requests and managing showing requests. We also have now, Maria has gone in the background, or I have, and set up showing time with if it's a combo lock or a combo door lock or a super box and the instructions on where to find it and how to get in the house and what have you. Um, and that's all inputted into showing time and the MLS. Um, moving forward, now you got to start doing your marketing and running some ads on Facebook and running some things and doing a broker open and scheduling an open house. All of those things take coordination. Who's bringing the food? Who's setting up the open house signs? Who's doing the postcards? Who's going to knock the doors around the neighborhood to invite people to come to the open house? All busy work, right? We got to go in Lofty and we got to create a landing page for that listing now that it's active within that helps us pump out a QR code that we can use to put on some of the other marketing materials and drive people to the website to see this listing that we listed, right? Creating a funnel of leads to come in, possible buyers, by having this listing. Again, you see the big star really pretty much like, for now, I'm going to do these for you on listings, and we're going to give classes on how to do them even more detailed, and you're going to start doing them eventually. Again, running paid ads right now for listings. I've been paying for the paid ads for any of our listings for our team. And that could be spending as little as 60, $80 a week on a Facebook ad to Trenton keeps coming in and out here. I don't know. Okay. That could be as little as spending just a little bit a week to thousands on marketing a property, depending on the property, right? Um, and then, running those paid ads. And that all takes time to set up and, time to do. So there's a lot of stuff that goes into doing a listing. Um, Now we're starting to have showings. We're dealing with agents with questions. We may be meeting them at the house sometimes if it's a certain listing to be there present with them. And we start to receive offers and we start to deal with our clients with negotiations, like presenting the offer to our sellers, hey, this is what they're offering. You know, again, you see the 2 stars. This is your responsibility, but also to utilize the coaching and the mentorship of the team leads to help you, present this offer properly and help your client come to the right decision, right? Number 16, once we've um, handed it back off to Maria, and Maria's got all the signatures and everything signed, and now we got an executed deal. And they're starting to want to schedule an inspection and going through appraisals and the dealing with the title company and the escrow process and the stuff we talked about before. All the same stuff from the buyer side starts to happen. Now we got a contract in play, right? So the whole first 16 list, you're doing all those same things mostly, except now you're on the listing agent side, you're on the seller side. So you don't have to schedule the inspection, but you got to approve the inspection. You may need to be there for the inspection with them also, things like that. You got to, at the closing day, you got to go pick up the sign in the lockbox. You got to go bring the keys to the title company. You got to be there with your sellers. You got to get the check and the deposit, and the compliance papers and excuse me. Let me take a sip of water. So I kind of condensed because I'm trying to keep it to 16. And then post closing, again, client gifts and follow-ups and setting them up in a drip campaign in Lofty to where a few times a year you're sending them a little message and a little thank you and a little, hey, this is what you've earned in equity in your house since last year on your home anniversary, whatever. We're going to talk about some of these things more into working on your business. But a lot of stuff, right? And I'm just given a brief overview. It's not every little detail about all the different things that happen. We hadn't talked about staging homes and virtual tours and 3D tours and all the different, other things that we may do on a listing to get it successfully marketed and sold, right? So finally, you know, here's just another little overview page where you could kind of see a little bit of a timeline, clean and prep, the photos, the coming soon, the starting to deploy social media campaigns, the postcard campaigns going out, the website with the QR codes that are tracking leads and tracking the metrics so we can show our sellers, hey, we got 1,200 clicks since last week on this house, but we hadn't got any offers. So, maybe we're a little overpriced for the market. You're able to have that conversation because you're tracking the metrics. And also obviously the open houses, which, we're starting to do more of and we've been pretty good at. Joseph and I have one for the Miami Beach LaCourse listing Saturday. And then finally, boom, wow, it's closing day. And and hopefully the final walk doesn't happen and there's not a leak found. And, you got an extra curveball to hurry up and deal with on this before it'll actually go to close, right? So, Julian's back in. All right. So unmute for a sec. If anybody has any comments or questions before we move on, if anybody'd like to say anything or ask anything, do so now before we move on to the next segment. But so far, we have talked about a lot of stuff that we have to do as realtors, both on the buyer side and on the seller side, right? Would anybody disagree that that's a lot of different stuff? um, Maria, you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, just making sure because I can't tell up here because I'm presenting from full screen. I can't really, I'm seeing little tidbits of who's popping in and out, but I wasn't sure if y'all were still hearing me.
Everybody's been here. Holly had to go.
Yeah.
Julian had to speak with a client, but he's back
He
in.
just popped back in. I see him.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, and we are recording this again. So I wanted y'all to be here in case we needed to do any discussion and really see this live. I'm talking directly to us. We're a unit. This is our team. But if you're watching this on the video later, good too, because I think this roadmap that we're giving here kind of takes some of the guesswork. And that's what I'm hoping. I hope it gets you motivated. Obviously, you could see in all of the different things that we've done and talked about so far on the buyer's agency side and on the seller side that there's a lot to it. You can easily get overwhelmed. We try to, as a team, set you up for success in that a lot of those tedious, time-consuming paperwork, liability type of things are, moved over to our transaction side with Maria, and possibly we're going to be bringing in some more transaction people soon too, believe it or not. So, we've got a couple of different people that we're thinking of right now, as we grow. So, again, back to, in the beginning, it's easy to get overwhelmed and to sort of be on this roller coaster, I like to say, imagine, all the stuff I just talked about. Imagine having 13 deals pending at the same time and 8 different buyer clients that you're working with at the same time and 5 active listings all at the same time, right? Imagine how overwhelming all of those things. We just talked about all those 16 different things that each had a whole bunch of things inside of them on buyer side and a whole bunch of things to list and sell a house on the listing side, right? So, if you think you're getting overwhelmed with just one client you're working with right now, imagine when you do start getting busy and you got to get, and you got 4 clients in town and what you got to write an offer and you got to sit at the desk. And so that's why please see the value in having Maria sitting at a desk as your secretary working on all of these things for you every day. She don't leave the desk from like 9 to 4 in the evening or so. And then usually once she gets the baby here and she gets her settled and everything, she comes running back upstairs to the office and works into the night every day, right? Because not only are we working all the deals and the listings that I'm doing, but we're working for the whole team, right? So we work in everybody's deals and micromanaging them from start to finish. You know, and we want to do that because we want quality. We want to train you guys on how we do this and how to do this properly to grow and be successful as realtors, you know, and ultimately grow us all as a brand and as a team as we grow. And we start taking on newer agents. You guys are going to be the seasoned agents that they're going to be shadowing, and, you know, you're going to take more leadership roles like Julian's starting to do. Okay. So if you think all of that stuff was overwhelming and you think that's all what it takes to work and be a realtor and successful in the real estate business, then guess what? You're mistaken, because none of those things that we talked about of the working in your business really matter when it comes to growing your business. Yes, how you handle the clients and the experience you gain and all these things are important. Don't get me wrong. But what I mean by that is, you know, if you close all of those deals you're working on and you got nobody else to work with at that point because you didn't work on growing your relationships and your sphere of influence and your ads and your marketing and your branding and all the different things that we have to do to bring leads in, then you're on this roller coaster, right? Because you got a few clients and then you got nothing. And then you got a few clients and then you got nothing. And you got a little money in your account and then you're broke, right? We want to get off of that. And the only way to get off of that is to really focus most of your effort into working on your business. Okay. And that's why I call it in your business versus on your business. I know it's kind of cliche, but so let's move forward. So here's some of the things, and this is, again, this is not the exhaustive list of every little thing that we need to be doing. These are the things that I think are the most important things, and I'll give some explanations on why. And this is the roadmap from 1 through 16 or so that I got here that you need to start with and start moving down this list and starting to get good at and implementing and executing this strategy that I'm giving you. Okay. So, number one, the biggest thing and the most important thing for you as in the real estate business, I'm going to say this again. Number one, the most important thing for you in this real estate business is relationships, right? It's your database, it's your sphere of influence, it's the people that know you, it's the family members that have friends that know you, it's your extended circle of people that you come in contact with or had business dealings with, or, you know, friends, kids, parents from the ballpark that you're friends with, what have you. Okay. So 90% of your sales in real estate are really going to come as an extension from this sphere of influence eventually, believe it or not. And this sphere of influence is going to grow as you start to handle deals successfully and clients are happy and giving you good reviews and referring you new people. Your sphere is going to grow, right? But even as a new agent right now, the number one thing you really need to be focused on right now is figuring out who your sphere of influence is, who your contact list is, and starting to put them into a database. We have Lofty as a CRM and categorized in the correct categories and things. Um, and then start to be reaching out to these people to letting them know, hey, I'm a realtor now. I'm with one of the top teams, boutique teams, the Mellorine Group. And, you know, yes, I'm new, but man, you ought to see some of the things that we do. And if you know anybody that wants to buy or sell, please, you know, think of us. And then let me update your address so I can send you a little something, you know, a little gift or a little um, valuation on your home. I'm going to do this for free because I'm new and I need the practice and whatever. Okay. So, first thing you need to do when you come into this business, and some of you guys have been in it now for a year or even whatever, a few months, and you haven't really got serious about this, but this is number one. Your database and your sphere of influence is ultimately where the deals are going to come from. And it's the most important thing. I say it on here, your database is gold. And I'm going to tell you, most of these teams and brokerages, one of the main reasons they want to recruit brand new agents and new people coming out of school is because when you sign on with them, they get your database, right? They get they're able to now do some deals because they know coming in, you're going to have some friends and family members or acquaintances that are going to come in and use you, and they want to capture that, right? And they don't even really let you be a buyer or a listing agent, so they're going to get those listings as their team. So now again, just comparing, not saying everyone out there, but the vast majority, that's the strategy on a lot of these brokerages. They want to get you guys in and they want to utilize your database. That's not my goal. I've got a 10-year-old database already, and we're growing in referrals and things. So I don't, I want to come and help you develop your personal brand in this team and develop your sphere of influence. And so this is number one, and we're going to have some more detailed discussion moving forward, but I can't stress this one enough. One and two, your sphere of influence comes first, putting it into the CRM, into Lofty. That's going to be going through your Facebook and figuring out and messaging all the people that you're friends with and acquaintances with on Facebook, a little message and asking them to give you their address and email address if you don't have it, so you can put them and tell them and just straight up, be a people person in the sense of be confident. Don't if they come at you like, oh, well, you're brand new, yeah, you're a realtor now, lean on that you're with the Melorine Group, and man, you know, this is an awesome team, and that our team's already got the best in Zillow badge for the past 12 months, and we just got it again this month, and whatever. I'll give you some talking points. Number two, again, maintain your database. This is going to be putting people into the right pipeline and the categories, and go back and look at my Lofty video we did before for an overview. And then we're going to delve a little deeper into the CRM part of Lofty on really where to place people hot and cold, and, past clients and sphere of influence, and making sure we had the contact information correct. Number three, automation and drip campaigns. You got to go in. I've set up a bunch of drip campaigns in Lofty for you. You're going to have to go in and tweak these drip campaigns. And if you don't understand what drip campaign is, what I mean is like an automated emails and text messages that go out to your database based on certain behaviors that they do, or based on a certain timeline that you set. Lofty's very intricate and allows us a really good way to automate some of these things so that you don't necessarily have to be constantly emailing and calling and texting your sphere of influence and texting your warm clients and all of this. You're going to set it up in Lofty, and we're going to help you set it up in Lofty to where each one of these segments has certain drip campaigns. And if they come back to the website and they start looking, and all of a sudden they just wasn't in the website for about 14 days or a month, and they come back in and all of a sudden they looking, they're going to get a certain email, they're going to get a certain text. It's going to be automated. It might have a video in it, whatever. And it's going to prompt them. It's going to look like they just got text from you, but it's going to be automated. And that allows you to, have multiple feelers and fishing lines out there, like connected to your
Looks
people.
like a model, that one.
Mute yours, Joseph. Hey, buddy, I see you back in anyway. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here. We just had
Okay.
that second showing.
Yeah, tell us real quick, how'd that go with the two showing? Give us a little overview.
Well, we had two. The investor
Eli guy.
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, so we had the one investor guy that came over. Seemed pretty legit. He actually loved the house. He loved the layout of it. Obviously, he would make some adjustments, but he actually liked it. And
Okay.
he wants to put a cash offer in today. So and then the second guy I just met right now, that was a last minute showing on showing time. He actually owns a lot of houses around Lagos, and he just flew in from New York right now. He just got off the plane, but he says he's been walking past his house for years and had a feeling it was going to go on it was going to go on the market. So I told him, yeah, we're expecting some offers today, so we may get one from him too.
All right.
But
Did
he
he
would
indicate
what he
he's
would
an
do.
agent or has an agent or?
So yeah, he has an agent, but his agent gave him the code. And so he
You're
came
not
in
supposed to
and
do that, but
I caught him. He was doing the video of all the stuff that he's going to do to the house, essentially.
okay.
So,
All right.
yeah, it was good.
All right. So let's pick back up. So where we are right now, If you guys would all just mute again for a sec so we can get a good video for us, for the team to look at later. So what we're talking about now is the working on your business, right? And this is all the things that you need to be doing to actively create relationships and to actively try to bring in more leads into your pipeline so that way we keep our business going and not just get bogged down in all the tedious things with buyers and sellers and contracts and marketing and all this type of stuff, right? So we talked about sphere of influence, how important it is. If you haven't gone in and really adjusted your database and gone through your Facebook and your Instagram and called all your family and friends and asked them, did they have anybody? Like you really got to be a little aggressive in the beginning of going out there and introducing yourself as a realtor to all your people, right? And asking them to give you somebody else that you can call, right? And grow your sphere of influence right off the bat. We talked about maintaining and putting them all into Lofty, into the correct categories, pipeline, contact info, et cetera, et cetera. Now we're starting to talk about the drip campaigns and the automations and the smart alerts and the different things that we're gonna use in Lofty that take a little bit of setting up. Luckily, luckily I've built it out for you a little bit with some good drip campaigns and some good schedules and things. And I'll show you, we're going to do a class on how to go copy mine and then adjust it for you. Number four, you've probably seen me and Maria's Melorine group. This is who we are, welcome video, but you're going to need to shoot one, right? Um, Joseph has shot one. I don't know if Julian's really shot one yet. He's starting to shoot video now, but everybody needs to shoot. It don't have to be anything fancy. Just like I'm sitting at the desk right now with the camera on me and, hey, what's up? This is Cliff Melorine from the Melorine Group. Our philosophy is this. We love working with buyers, blah, 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 blah. Please give me a call, da, da, da. Okay, so a quick welcome video, and we want to embed this welcome video into the first welcome email from the first automated drip campaign that goes out when a lead comes in from Zillow, from OpCity, from Lofty, from wherever our lead sources are coming in from, right? Lots of different ones we're going to talk about. So you have to do a little welcome video in there. Okay. All right. Let's pause for 1 sec. This is Eric calling in, and this is about this final walk leap thing. What's up, Eric?
Going on.
I'm still in the Zoom. I knew this one was going to take long, but I'm trying to get it going, get it done anyway, so that way we have the video later for everybody to look back. But I paused everybody for a sec because obviously this is time sensitive. So what's going on?
So I had the roofer come out. He checked the area. A lot of it's more, he said, along the lines of like poor design, so where it builds up with the pine needles and leaves in the corner right next to the stucco. So then water will pool right there. He said the flashing looks fine. He kind of gave him an estimate of if you were to replace the flashing with one that would push the water out a little bit better away from the stucco. He said it'd be maximum like $2,000.
Okay.
And then I just spoke to the buyer's agent. She asked if it'd be something where they could just, like, we can do it all on the side, like not with the closing, like they can just write a check or something along those lines so that we don't postpone the closing anymore.
Right. Yeah, I would say that would be the best bet too. Let me ask you this. Did anybody say that they thought it was still active moisture, or was it, is it just, I was curious on that. Is it wet, or is it just an old leak because of the design?
Yeah, they didn't. I mean, it doesn't look like it's moist, and I think it felt around it, like the door and the frame is dry.
Yeah.
He just thinks like it just over time, like it was just sitting there.
Okay. Yeah, it could have been, or it could have easily been something in the attic that leaked, or something that they stuffed in the top of that closet that, who knows if it wasn't active.
They looked in they went in the attic and looked around, and there's no water lines or anything.
Okay.
That would leak over on that side.
All right. So basically they sounds like they're gonna be okay with your guys' estimate of about $2,000. And that's
Yeah.
sounding like what she's gonna ask for.
Yeah, and then a lot of that he said was because he would have to get into the stucco and have to replace the stucco and repaint it. It'd be multiple trips to just kind of come and treated everything as well.
Yeah.
So that's
Okay.
where he got up with the $2,000.
Okay. All right. Well, Lee and Lisa's just gonna have to eat it. I'm gonna have to give them a call and explain. I guess I'll wait for this girl to give me the final word if that's exactly what they're asking for, you know. Um, so they don't, before I call him and tell him that's what it is. But all right, Eric, I appreciate it, man. Glad to have you there today. And it worked out great that, we were able to me being this far away on a deal like this. That was an important deal. Just goes to show how, having a team like we have strengthens us.
No
So,
doubt. Yes,
uh,
sir. I'm happy to help.
yeah, great, great. And definitely you're gonna get,
Cool.
cut in on this one a bit and you make something too. So
I appreciate it.
all right, so yeah, go ahead and tell her to just maybe submit to me in an email what they're asking for, so that way I've got it in writing and then I'll talk to them and I'm sure they're gonna do whatever's necessary to keep it on track, make her feel positive about it. We'll make it work.
Okay.
And just submit it to me and we'll get it done. That way they can get over the closing. If she wants to just do it in an email for now, then we can email back. I can have Lee email back in writing saying they're okay with it. In the meanwhile, I'll get Maria drawing up like a little side addendum, or a little side agreement. Yeah, or unless she wants to draw it. Yeah. Right. Okay. All right. Tell her to just text me right now something with the final number they're asking for so I can get it approved and then we'll move forward.
Okay.
All right. Perfect. Thank you, man.
All right.
Okay. All right. In a few minutes, I'll call you. Okay. All right, you guys, you still with me? So let's bang through some of these things that you need to be doing. This is the important stuff, guys. This is the stuff that you really need to be doing in order to grow your business. If you're sitting around not knowing what you should be doing with your real estate business, it's not all the stuff that we talked about in the beginning with the working in your business. That's incidental work that we have to do in the business as we're working with buyers and sellers, right? So these are the proactive things, the working on growing your brand and growing your business that are more important. And that's what I'm getting at with this whole roadmap and presentation. So, all right, let's bang through them some more. So, number 5, the new realtor introduction. Now that you've got your sphere of influence, you got your drip campaigns ready, you got your headshots ready, you got your welcome emails ready to roll, you got all this different stuff. Now it's time to really start rolling out what we were talking about with the sphere of influence and calling your personal friends, family, acquaintances, starting to do some YouTube posting and different stuff like that, right? And get serious about it. Number 6, and this is a big one, and this is one that we've so far, Maria and I have started, we've been doing some for you, and we've also started rolling it out, for the team and for ourselves in our markets. But this is big and it's time consuming and it's expensive. And we're going to do a certain amount for you, but ultimately most of the stuff I'm showing you here, although we are here to back you up on all of this is your responsibility. This is your business to grow. You have to invest the time and the effort and the money into marketing yourself. Yes, we're going to market the team as a brand. And yes, we're going to pay for some of your marketing to try to funnel you leads. And we're going to, when you get a listing, we're going to pay for pictures and we're going to pay for certain things. But, ultimately, when you pick a neighborhood to start farming, you've got to do the due diligence on putting together that area of focus and narrowing it down to the right houses and then putting together a letter to those buyers and go and pay to get it mailed out and stamped. And that, we'll talk more about the details of it. But, if you want to grow your business, you need to start picking at least one neighborhood close to where your area of focus is, and you need to start farming and geofencing and farming that area, right? And so what that means is, just to give you a quick overview, Maria goes, okay, we're gonna pick the Bywater neighborhood of New Orleans this month, and we're gonna use a software, and I'm gonna show you the different softwares and platforms that we have, and you'll have access to. We're going to use a software that lets us go in and draw a polygon around this neighborhood and filter out the people who are renters. So we're just dealing with owners, and filter out the people who have owned their home less than 5 years because they probably not going to sell, and filter out the ones that have a mortgage rate of so and so, and filter out the ones that have an income less than so. And we narrow it down to geofence just the owners in that neighborhood that have a high sell score. That might be ones that if we start farming them are in a good position and have a certain amount of equity in their home and have owned it for a certain amount of time, that they are likely candidates to want to perhaps sell and cash out on that equity and move on to something else, right? So we first takes a little time and effort to create that database for that neighborhood and that CSV file. And we take that CSV file and we upload it to one of two or three of different programs and platforms that we have out there, like Stamped, and we were using Mailbox Power. Even Postal Services got every door direct mail, and we're going to talk about some of these options available to you that allow us to start hitting these houses with the postcards, right? And the mailers and the different touches that we're going to do. And we'll talk about the strategy as we delve into the classes on this. But it's a 8 touches over 8 weeks is really like the method that they say works the best. Letters, postcards, coming soons, market reports. This one, like I just showed you right here, is just the who we are with a QR code that goes to our welcome video, right? This is one of the first ones that goes out. So they start to connect. They start to look at you as the local expert. And that's ultimately what you're trying to do here, is you're trying to brand yourself in this neighborhood as the local expert, as the top realtor and team in that area. And you can look into the stats. They took and polled the neighborhood and said, who's the top realtor in the neighborhood. And then they created a fictitious realtor based on AI. And they did the 8 thing. And after 8 weeks, they went back and they polled that neighborhood and asked them again, who do you think is the top realtor in this neighborhood? And unanimously, almost 100%, everybody said this fake realtor that wasn't even a realtor, actually, just an AI generated, shell. And it goes to show that it changes public opinion by farming neighborhoods like this on who the top realtor is in that neighborhood. On top of that, you're going to be getting involved with doing things in the community, and we're going to talk a little more about doing, videos and social media and showing off restaurants and interviewing salon owners and all the different things you see we do, with the Mellorine Group already. But you need to start doing it on a hyper local level and branding yourself as this is your business. You got to grow as your own brand under the Mellorine Group team, right? So when you create this farming area of focus, you got to do a CMA for that thing. You got to for that area. You got to put together the market stats. You got to start to develop your knowledge, because you may get a call like that first postcard may go out, and you may get a call from a seller that goes, hey, you know what? We are thinking about listing our home and we would like to consider you and your team. And can you tell me a little bit about the market right now in the neighborhood, man? I heard the market sucks. And that's your opportunity to wow them with your expertise. And you're not going to be able to do that if you didn't do your due diligence and sit there and know what houses just sold in that neighborhood, know what houses are coming, what houses are pending, know whether it was 8% growth year over year since last year, know how many days on market that houses have been sitting on average in that neighborhood. You need to be able to pump that data out like in your sleep if you're going to be the local expert in that neighborhood. And that takes a little effort. That takes a little time. While you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs, not knowing what you're doing, this is what you need to be doing. You need to be researching your market that you're going to farm and developing your farming list. And right. So number 8, this is where we create specific farming letters. The first thing that goes out is the postcard, here we are. The second thing that goes out is a specific letter to this owner that says, hey, Mr. So-and-so, we can see you have 275,000 equity in your home at current time. We can see you've owned it for 24 years. We have buyers that are looking in this neighborhood and looking for a good home. Give me a call if you would consider selling, blah, blah, blah. I'm paraphrasing, okay? But a direct letter that shows this person, you know exactly what their house is worth and what they owe on it, if they owe anything on it, and how much equity they have in it, right? So you you kind of wowing them, and that's got a QR code on it, and it goes to the market report for that neighborhood. Man, well, let me scan this QR code. Oh wow, I do see that this one just sold for over 1 million, like 2 houses down. I didn't realize we could get that much. Babe, let's move, right? So I mean, these letters work, trust me, and if they don't work right away, they still set you up as the local expert now, for that neighborhood. Um, Moving forward, you've got to create the flyers and the door hangers and the mailers and do your graphic design. Again, I've got a bunch of templates and the look and the way certain of our flyers and postcards and different things look and our brand stuff, but ultimately it takes a little time each one that you put together to go in Photoshop or go in Canva or whatever you're using and put together your marketing materials, right? I spend whole days up here in the office just working on the flyers and the door hangers and the different things that need to go out. When it comes to setting up the direct mail campaign and the touches, you got to go in, you got to upload that CSV to the stamped or the every door direct mail. You got to pick your thing. You got to go in and decide how many, if it's 6x9 or if it's 4x6, or if you're sending a whole page, or you've got to go in. It takes a little time, right, to set it up and tweak it, and then you pay per click, and and it's usually about roughly $1 a mailer, typically about 80 cents on a 6x9, let's say. So if you farm in the neighborhood and it's got 400 homes, you want to send that next touch, it's $400, right? So you got to invest in your business a little bit to be able to grow it. Number 11, this is big now. You see me doing this. You see me doing a lot of focus on this. And really, I am so busy caught up in trying to help everybody's transactions with Maria and all the other different things that we got going on with this team that I get sidetracked and I don't finish all of these videos as fast as I should. And ultimately, what I want to do is just be y'all content marketing creator and mentor as we able to bring in more people to help with the transactions and I can pull out of sales more. I want to just be that person that comes and helps you guys create content for all your local area, for your listings, for whatever, right? Ultimately, we're going to hire some better photographers and video editors than myself. I've been really kind of just doing everything mostly on my own. But don't underestimate shooting value added content. And I don't mean just, hey, look at this house we got for sale today and going like this with the camera, and right. I'm talking about, you see the videos. When we create a video, we are trying to become that local expert. We're trying to show off the lifestyle of that area. We're trying to show off what's the best restaurants to eat in, how close it is to the beach, or how close it is to the French Quarter, or right. You've seen some of my videos, so you understand what I'm saying. And those YouTube videos live on forever. It's not like Instagram Reels and TikToks and different things like that that like go and come, and you can repost them, but they only there for a few minutes, literally, and not that many people see them. But a YouTube video, when somebody is thinking about moving to New Orleans or to Covington, or to Miami Beach or to Boca Raton, and they search moving to Boca Raton on YouTube, our videos got to be one of the ones that pops up there and explains, hey, here's our top picks for the top 5 schools in West Boca Raton. Boom, 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 boom. Let's go. This is how we start to become that local expert that transcends just being the realtor. We now are the neighborhood guides. Video helps people connect with people on a real personal level because they feel like they're talking to you almost. So I can't stress enough, but besides sphere of influence, video is probably one of the most important things you should be focused on right now. Um, we'll delve more into video and all the different aspects from YouTube's to Reels to TikToks to creating how-to things to talking just to realtors and talking just about the market, right? Um, and then taking and doing targeted posts to social media and consistency with targeted posts around the videos and around the market reports and things. Um, Lofty lets us generate squeeze pages and landing pages and things that we can post to Facebook that you can create a list in Lofty. Hey, here's a list of foreclosed homes, and you can post that on Facebook and you can share it to all the different garage sale groups and things. And that's a really good way to start to generate some generic leads and people that are clicking on your thing. And because when they click on it with Lofty, it captures them. It says, hey, here's this person, this is their Facebook handle, this is what they looked at, this is what, and now your drip campaign automatically is set up to drip on them and say, hey, here we are, here's our video, right? So you gotta set these things up and you gotta be kind of consistent with them too. I mean, you gotta be on there sharing a list once or twice a week. You don't want to bombard your Facebook because it's still personal, especially on your personal Facebook. You know, we'll talk deeper into the strategy here, but I'm giving you the overview. Single property squeezes with different houses. Hey, check out this house that just hit the market, blah, 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 blah. Those funnel people to you and you share them in these groups. And it's not just your sphere of influence and your Facebook friends that are seeing them. And you're probably doing some paid ads if it's your listing and things you're doing, like we talked about, you're doing some paid ads and those are bringing some buyers into your funnel. Number 15, working on listing presentation, and being good at presenting our value and what your strengths are and what our marketing strengths are and what our strategy is to people, wowing them with your knowledge about the market and what things are doing and what interest rates are doing and whatever. Um, Hosting open houses, like some of you guys have been hosting open houses on my listings. Those can bring you buyers. Julian's gotten buyers from hosting open houses that were my listings. Ryan, I think, has got a couple of leads in the pipeline right now from last weekend's open house that he did on Fosses. So these are important in the beginning when you don't have a lot of clients and a lot of listings of your own to be hosting open houses as much as you can. And then finally, and I mean, look, again, this is not the exhaustive list of everything we need to be doing to market ourselves and grow our leads and grow our sphere of influence and develop relationships. But we are literally, this is literally like the list of like the main things that I think are important for you guys to be starting to do on a regular basis right now. And then finally, you got to set some time aside each week or a couple of times a week to call your leads and call your hot list and your warm list and your cold list. And you got to time block that out a little bit. You definitely have to like say, well, okay, Tuesday mornings from 9 to 11 or whatever it is going to be where I follow up with my hot list. Thursdays, I'm going to work on my warm and cold list and some of my sphere of influences. Fridays is when I'm going to reach out to one of my friends and my acquaintances and ask to take them out to lunch or coffee, right? These things are important. Ultimately, if you don't follow up with it, now we do have some automation happening, so you don't have to constantly be on people, but the warm list, the hot list, the client follow-ups of the people that just came in and are still warm, you need to be blocking some time out each week to follow up with those people and get on the phone with those people, or at least even if it's just a morning of texting through your list of people to send them a quick text. People fail in this business because they're scared to get on the phone. Now, I'm not telling you, I've never in my career so far done any cold calling. I know there's people who swear by it. I know there's people that say you can't become a millionaire without doing it. I don't feel that that's true. I don't particularly like the idea of cold calling because as a consumer, I don't like it when people cold call me. I want to hang up on them. And I am polite as I can be, but I pretty much always just push them off when they cold call me out of the blue. I like to work with calling leads that came in the pipeline as warm leads from Zillow or referral leads or even cold leads with people that I know have been in the pipeline and they kind of, whatever, they couldn't be qualified right now, but I know they're working on it and whatever, cold, follow-up leads, cold leads. At least those are people that have already kind of had a discussion and come to us through our marketing, through our farming, through our YouTube, through our Facebook posts, through our this is how you generate a business. This is not just go and get on a list of expireds and call and get hung up on 100 times in a day. That's not a good use of your time to me. And it's not our style. We don't want to be perceived that way with this boutique team. We want to be perceived as the team that people want to work with because of what we're doing and who we are and our track record and our 5-star reviews, of course. So anyway, so let's move on. So we're wrapping up here, but I just want to, this is if you have ever heard of this, the OKR. So like Apple and Google and Yahoo and Amazon and a lot of these big corporations with their major think tanks and their smart people, right? Realize that in order to achieve anything and grow in business, that their think tanks had to go through the OKRs of any situation, and that is the objectives, the key results, and the initiative. So obviously, I put it here for you to spell it out. The objectives is what do we want to achieve, right? The key result is how do we track it? How do we know if we've achieved it? And then finally, the initiatives. How are you going to achieve it? What is the execution, right? So a lot of people, and especially in the beginning in real estate, because there's so many things that we got to do, they start to learn the strategy of what needs to be done, but then they don't really get to the point of executing it, right? For whatever reason that may be. They too busy working in the business and they bog down in paperwork and stuff. So they're not executing all the things on the business that they need to be doing. And also they don't track it. They don't really track the metrics, which we're going to help track for you as a team. Maria's tracking the metrics on things. So we'll be able to have our team meeting once a week and everybody held accountable to see where we are. What have you been doing and taking initiative this week, whether it's your sphere of influence or recording new videos or, doing an open house or what have you. Our ongoing weekly meetings that we're going to start having here is mostly going to be about the OKRs with everybody on the team. And I want to get everybody involved in everybody else's process and execution and strategy. So that way we learn from each other's and we're able to lean on each other's strengths, right? So again, objectives, that's your strategies. I'm giving you the objectives right now. That's what today is about, me giving you the strategy. And then you got to now go in and start to execute some of these strategies of the working on your business. Of course, we're going to be some weeks bogged down in paperwork and some weeks have a lot of buyers we're working with and we're going to have to kind of push some things down the road a little bit, but you got to stay focused and block some time each week to be executing the on your business, growing your business mentality. And if you don't, you're never really going to get off the roller coaster and you're never really going to succeed in real estate. You're going to be like this guy right here, just buried in paperwork, and even with having Maria that's handling a lot of this for you, you can easily get bogged down with a bunch of buyers and a bunch of listings and a bunch of showings and no negotiations and not work on growing your personal brand and growing the team's brand and attracting clients to want to work with us. This is the key to real estate. So anyway, I hope you guys. I had a one last slide here. I don't know why the last slide's not. Well, okay. 23 or 23. Interesting. Well, okay. So I hope you guys got a little something out of this roadmap. I call it kind of the cheat code because we talked about all the different things that we do working in the business for buyers and for sellers. And then we really started to focus on what we do to grow ourselves as a personal brand and what we do to work in our business to start bringing more business. Ultimately, we absolutely have to focus more of our time and our effort and block out more of our time each week on the growing and the working on our business than we do getting bogged down in our business. So the phone's buzzing. and I got to go put out this fire and make sure we moving forward on this closing right now. That's held up. And you know, I'm glad you guys were kind of privy to it here to see some of what happens in the background on that deal. Um, I guess we're not going to take questions right now. If you guys have any questions, please write them down, and then let's talk later this evening. You can call me, and then we'll circle back. We'll have some more classes coming right now that are going to delve into every different step that we talked about today. So you guys are like aces when it comes to all of this stuff, I promise. And you know, Mellorine Group, we're going to be strong. We here. We are over some of the hurdles. You know, Eric is moving now from LSU athletics into full time. Holly is moving back from another job into full time. Aleda's had some real personal issues that she's had to deal with that now she's getting over, and she's going to be coming full time. Julian has now started to learn and taking a leadership role more in Louisiana. Clifton now has got his license and he's doing a bunch of investing and he's starting to grow with the team. Ryan has got his first deal under his belt and he's working with a few buyers and he's now going to start working on his business and doing some of the things. Trenton now is on with us and he's already rocking and rolling. He's finally making the transition from another brokerage to us. Um, you know, basically everybody, you know, is now kind of over this hump where it's go time, you know, and I'm gonna start holding you accountable and tracking with you what you're doing and what you're not doing and stuff. Things are about to change a little bit. I've given everybody a little time to figure this out. And also it gave me and Maria time to get moved over to grow in Florida and change over to LPT and add new systems and add new courses like this. And we're still growing, you know. We welcome feedback. We here for you 100%. In your business versus on your business. Signing out.
Appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, guys.